Sometimes you do something and you don't even know that you're doing that thing, right? And you accuse other people of doing it. Meanwhile, you are also guilty of the same thing. Hello. Today is day 27. Yeah, day 27. Celebrate. So, today, like I said yesterday, we are going to be talking about some of the things I've learned on this journey so far. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we talked about the challenges that I've faced on this journey so far. And we're going to today highlight some of the lessons I've learned. Because, yeah, obviously there are so many lessons I've learned so far. I won't be able to say everything, but I'm going to just highlight a few. So, the first one I'm going to talk about is, this is a very funny one, but I'm going to relate it to real life issues. But let me just tell you what it is. I found out that I frown a lot when I talk, and I never knew that. You, my friends and family, nobody ever told me that I frown a lot when I'm trying to make a point, or I'm very thoughtful, or I'm trying to get something across. And the funny thing is that I always complain about my son that he frowns when he's talking, like he creases his forehead, like, that. And I'm always complaining about it. Like, oh, you are frowning. Don't frown. Not knowing that I do the same. So when I first started looking back at the videos, and then I saw that, I'm like, why are you doing that? So, and I tried in the subsequent videos to consciously correct it, and I think it's kind of a habit, and it is what it is. So yeah, that's one thing I noticed. Very funny, but let me relate it to a real life issue, or real life issues. What I want to just say I've learned from that is that sometimes you do something and you don't even know that you're doing that thing, right? And you accuse other people of doing it. Meanwhile, you are also guilty of the same thing, if you get what I mean. So I just find out that, thinking about it in life, there are many things that we do, so many faults we have that we don't even know that we have, and we accuse other people of doing it. It's like, what just brought to my mind is that scripture that says, remove the log in your eye before you are trying to remove the speck in another person's eye. The log in your eye, compare log to speck. The log is a big fault or a big character flaw or whatever you might relate it to, compared to the one you're trying to accuse the other person of doing, or trying to correct the other person of, which is a tiny speck. If you compare it to your own, it's a tiny speck, but you are going on and on, or nagging the person about it or whatever, because you are not seeing your own faults. So it really makes me to feel that we need to be more aware. We need to put the glass to ourselves and assess ourselves and examine ourselves and see whether what we are accusing other people of, we are even doing the same thing. This is the lessons I've really, really thought about, that I've learned from this. Because sometimes when you don't look closely at yourself, you don't even know that you are doing some certain things that are wrong. So I just want us to also learn that lesson with me. Let's try and assess ourselves periodically and see whether there are things that we're doing that are not good, or that we can improve on, right? That we can improve on. And probably there are other things that we are even accusing other people of doing, but we ourselves are even guilty of the same thing. So this is one lesson I've learned, and I'm really trying to apply it to every area of my life. So that is number one. The number two lesson I've learned so far, or benefit that I've seen in this working so far, is that I've become more disciplined. and the discipline that I'm acquiring from this walk, getting up, even when I don't feel like going, it's not just about the walking, but it's the walking consistently, that consistency, every day, not trying not to break it, no matter the challenges. It's being transposed, so to say, to other areas of my life. I'm seeing that I'm applying to other areas. I'm like, okay, if I can do this, then I can do this other thing. If I can achieve this in this area, then I can achieve this other thing. So it's kind of extending to some other areas of my life, some very significant areas of my life, projects and things that I've put aside. I'm seeing myself being able to pick them up again. Some of the things that I've planned to do in the past that I've neglected, I'm seeing myself going back to it just because of this work. It looks like a simple thing, but I'm just like, if I can do this, then I can do this other thing. So I can do this other thing. And I'm seeing some degree of success. And I believe that I will continue to see even more success in those other areas of my life. So that is the second lesson I've learned. The third lesson I've learned is that I'm seeing that in talking here every day, bringing out some topics and just thinking about it, I'm also being affected. I'm also gaining. I'm also having personal growth. For example, like when I'm talking about something or a thought that's coming to my mind, I'm forced to look at that thought. I'm forced to look at that issue. I'm forced to think about it. And I'm forced to also apply it in my own life. Anytime I talk, I'll be like, oh, I'm encouraging you, just like I'm encouraging myself. I just don't say that just for the cameras. It's true. As I'm encouraging you, as I'm talking about a particular issue, I'm also encouraging myself and I'm also talking to myself. So I'm seeing that it's affecting my own personal growth as well. I can point to so many examples. For example, when I talked about habits, I can't remember the day that we talked about habits, and I made one example, right? The example was, I think the point I was trying to highlight that day was, I'm sure I remember. Yes, I was trying to say that if you make something, if you are trying to form a new habit and you do the thing and you relate it to something that is already established, that there's a higher tendency that you form that habit. And I used an example of, for example, that example just popped into my head that day. I used the example of maybe when you are brushing, because you have to brush every day anyway, and then you listen to scriptures like Bible on video, on audio. When you are doing that can help you to form that habit. And when I got home that day, when I was brushing, I just put my audio Bible. Normally I do have a plan to listen to audio Bible every day, but a lot of times I maybe forget or something else is happening and I end up not doing it. But that particular day I just did that, and I found out that since that day I've been popping up my audio Bible while I'm brushing, and it's become almost like a habit, So that's an example. And there are other things. Like when I talked about self-assessment, I found out that I am now assessing myself more, trying to be more aware of myself a lot more than before. When I talked about the to-do list, I used to do my to-do list before, but sometimes I will not just follow it. But, these days I found out that I'm really more serious, more consistent with the to-do list, and so many other topics like that we've talked about. I found out that as I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself, and I'm gaining from all these things, and I'm becoming more self-aware. I'm becoming better at certain things, and I'm also increasing in my growth. So that's the third lesson that I've learned. Tomorrow I'm going to continue the lessons. Maybe I'll take 3 more. So I just want to know if you've learned anything so far as well in this your walking journey. Have you learned anything? Would you want to share with us? Is there anything that resonates with you from what I also said today? Let me know in the comment section. And if you've not watched all the videos from day 1 to today, please try and catch up with all the videos. And then that's it for today. I'm going to see you when I'm done. "21 minutes in. See you later." I'm back. So today's one is done, completed, put in the bag. And this is what we have today. That's summary. So thank you so much for joining me. If you've been with me from the beginning of this challenge till now, I'm very grateful. I appreciate you. If you've joined along the way, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. As I'm talking to you, I'm also learning. If there's anything you've learned along the line as we've been talking, or any thoughts that have really resonated with you, or that has contributed one way or the other to your personal growth, please feel free to share with us in the comment section so that to encourage everybody. And if you've learned anything or you found any value from all the videos so far, please subscribe to the channel and like if you've liked any of them. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.